Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to BandLab Plus Coffee. It's time to wake up, wind up, and queue up with another excellent track. Today we've got You Make Me by TheDougStep, Catherine Grace, and Fabase 2020. So without further ado, to the left!
Let the music unlock your heart. It's time to collaborate. You're part of the family.
It's time to wake up, wind up, and queue up with another excellent BandLab track. You Make Me over here on BandLab by TheDougStep at TheDougStep from Houston, Texas. A lot of great lab coats from Houston, repping 1.83 thousand followers with two others on the track. Looks like we have Catherine Grace at KathrynGrace and Fabase 2020. We've heard him before at FABASS 2020. The track itself has a description that says, "This original song was inspired by my empathy for anyone that suffers from bullies, for anyone whose life is made more difficult via someone else's crooked heart." Huge heartfelt thanks to Catherine Grace and Fabase for supporting. Let's take a listen. There's that song by Rihanna, I think, called Stay. I think this piano reminds me a lot of that. But I do like how somber we're starting with just the piano.
Why you always make me cry?
Yeah.
Why you always make me die?
Whoa. Why you always make me cry? Why you always make me die?
Break me from the inside.
Where are my lyrics, DougStep?
Why you always make me? Why you always make me
Whoa.
cry?
Sam Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
Why you always make me cry?
I do like this male-female vocal
Break
play.
me from the inside. Oh, why you always make me? Why you always make me cry?
Oh, now we're bringing in like the Mumford & Sons driving drums and guitar. I like how muted the drums are. The vocals really are the standout here. It's human emotion, so the humans are going to do the talking. I can definitely hear that bass in the background too. These harmonies are great. Both vocals are now weaving together to create an even stronger vocal. More on that. That was a great bass lick. And it sounds like we've opened up the drums a little more in the end here. It's all crescendoing. Dun, 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 dun. Boom. And then we're going to go back to simple. I like that. Good separation on those vocals too. Wow, great track. Great track to all of you. TheDougStep, awesome. let's just jump into it. 2 things I love and 1 I want more of. The first thing I love is how the beginning and the end of the song work to bring us to a complete story. We start off with just this piano. That's all we got. Then we layer in some vocals.
Why you always make me
Then we even add, I believe, a layer of either keyboard or organ.
Why you always make me
Before we really kick off. But before we kick off, and what makes that part of the song even bigger and cooler by contrast is this simple beginning. We're starting simple with emotion. We're letting the emotion do the talking. And then we kick off into this driving beat that really has the acoustic guitar and the drums doing a lot of driving, doing a lot of work. You can hear a few things going on there. I like to relate it more to like a Mumford and Sons driving beat, but there's a lot of Western key elements in there that give you like these tense moments of whether they be a cattle drive or a bar fight. But that driving acoustic guitar along with the driving drums is a really great way to build tension and to also just bring a really neat sound to your track. They go really well together, the way that the toms are being used on the drums along with the acoustic guitar. But back to the thing I love, the simple beginning and then bookending with the simple ending. And now we have guitar and piano. So that's the first thing I love. We start super simple, which makes the middle even more intense. And then we end really simple. We put a bookend on it, which actually brings me to the second thing I love. This song, Dougie P is saying, the DougStep is saying it's about bullies. And it's for anyone who's been hurt by bullies, killing me from the inside, right? The emotional, dare I say, damage that comes from that. But something I love about this song, and I don't know if it was intentional, I can't speak to that, but what I can speak to is how it made me feel. In the very beginning, not only do we just have the piano and the very end bookended with the piano and the guitar, but in the beginning you have the female vocalist, who I assume is Catherine Grace, singing. And then you have, who I believe is the DougStep, singing. But they're separate. They're 2 separate people. And it feels like when you're being bullied, you can hardly ever feel more alone than when you're being bullied. So it feels like you're alone. Why you gotta make me cry? But over here, you have this person experiencing the exact same thing. Even though you both feel alone, you're separate. Why you gotta make me cry? Why you gotta make me cry? You feel so lonely. And you fail to realize that there's someone there who feels the same way you do, who's going through the same thing, who has a shared experience. And a shared experience goes a long way towards empathy. Don't lock yourself away from the world when these kinds of things are happening. The enemy waits and prowls like a lion, waiting to devour. And he likes to take you from the pack, right? Like a wolf would take a sheep. So when we start out, we're separate, but then we come to the middle of the song and it's Catherine Grace, but now we hear some DougStep coming in here. He's in the background, he's fading in, and here's DougStep. He's louder now. He's not in the background anymore. And they're together. They found each other. two separate people with a shared experience is a powerful thing. When you feel alone and you find someone with a shared experience, it is very powerful. So in this song, whether it was by design or not, these two people who felt alone are now together, and they're experiencing this. Even though it's a tragedy, they're experiencing it together. And when we experience things together, we get through them. And the song builds and crescendos as they continue this shared experience together. And you know what we're left with at the end of the song? While bullying is wrong, everything about it is wrong. And in this day and age, it's more dangerous than ever because it's not just getting punched in the face on the playground and getting your milk money taken. It's the internet. So much information at your fingertips at all times. It's especially dangerous for developing minds, right? I'm not saying the internet's bad. I'm saying that it's dangerous if there are not the correct guidelines in place, say for parents to children, because unlimited access to information without unlimited access to context is dangerous. But in this song, we had two people who were alone and came together through a shared experience. And by the end, here's what's important. It gets simple again, but they're not alone. When the dust settles, they're together. And that's super important. So as we come out of this big, huge place in the song where they've found each other, we go back to this really simple place. And not only is our Catherine Grace and the DougStep together, but the piano and the guitar are now together too. So where we were alone as a piano, as a vocal, we are now together as a piano and guitar and as vocalists. So I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if that was the design for this piece of art, but I can tell you it is, in fact, the second thing I love. The fact that everything is so separate in the beginning, and as we share experiences, we come together to form something stronger, something that's less sad and more triumphant. We grow through our experiences, and when we reach out to the people around us and let them help, that's when we can heal. It's hard to heal alone, very hard to heal alone. And I understand that sometimes we need to be alone to process, but to struggle alone is not how you were designed. You were designed on purpose, for a purpose. You are awesome, and you were designed to be in community with others. So those are the two things I love. The one thing I want more of is I sort of want a little bit of a different vocal mix happening here, just by way of subtraction. Because these vocals sit on top, of this track and drive it the way that they do, or are some of the large leaders in the track, there is an element on the frequency spectrum where it sounds like maybe we just need to pull down some of the mid-high frequencies that create harshness. When we are singing, there is a line, and the numbers on that line go from essentially 0 to 20,000, which I'm not 100% sure what the human ear range is on that. Someone is welcome to correct me in the comments. But on that line, somewhere between 800 and 1600, depending on your voice, there is a place where your ear is used to hearing human speech, which means you hear it really well in music because our ear already picks up on it. And if there is too much of that frequency happening, it becomes what we call harsh. And that harshness takes over, and it can make it tough to listen to the song over and over again because our ear gets tired. So what I'd like to hear, I would like to hear some of those larger vocal parts, maybe use an EQ to bring some of that frequency down, whether it's the 8 or 1600. BandLab has a graphic EQ that works with an 800 band, a 1600 band. And then honestly, you can get some harshness up in that 3.4 as well, just from the frequency with which our voices naturally operate. But if you were to pull just a little bit of that down, it would smooth out the vocal. Now, perhaps for the performance, you want the vocal to be a little bit harsh. It sounds great, but the frequency, maybe you want it to be a little bit harsh to convey tension. But if you do keep it that way, just keep in mind that while the song is awesome, it just makes your ear a little bit more tired faster because those frequencies just make your ear tired. It's like anything. If you work it out in a certain way for too long, you get tired. So there's nothing wrong with the vocals in this. They're beautiful and they're well sung. It's more just the frequency range. I would love to see just a little bit of taming of those higher end frequencies to smooth out the track and to give us a more smooth experience that lets us listen over and over and over again. What an excellent track. Thank you so much, Dougie P, TheDougStep out of Houston, for creating this, and Catherine Grace and Fabase for being part of it. Don't forget to head on over to BandLab and follow these people. And you should also not forget to follow DJTatious on YouTube, BandLab, or wherever you choose to consume your social media. I hope you have a fantastic day today, and I can't wait to drink coffee and listen to music tomorrow. We'll see ya.